What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you on Lucid. I want to give you an overview of what happened, go over some of the data points and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid did have a disappointing day, went down 3.43%, very little volume, so 25.3 million shares being traded, 45.1 is the average. And today there was no actual news from Lucid, no SEC filings. Today was the very first day that you can actually pose questions to management. So that, like I've said, is a very good opportunity for us to get some difficult questions asked. But technically, it looks like their website behind the scenes isn't fully ready because it does show invalidate. So most likely Lucid does need to do something on their end. So hopefully this will be up and ready for tomorrow. So one day behind, but still not that big of a deal. Like I've said in the past, this is a very good opportunity, but we can't squander it with basic questions such as what happened last earnings, right? Because to ask them, what are you doing to fix a stock price? Like, they can't really do anything. The only time any company can really rectify a downwards kind of motion in the stock price is a buyback. A couple other things, but Lucid doesn't have the cash to do any of those. So in reality, you have to orient more towards operational update questions such as ESS or even the gravity, right? Gravity is going to be the next big thing for Lucid. And for any reason, if they do push it back, that is going to be detrimental on the stock price. Because keep in mind the AMP1, the phase 2 was just recently announced to be completed. So that was in Q1. Technically, that was supposed to be done Q3 to Q4, so between that time period. So they are behind the gun. Does that mean it's going to be pushing back the gravity? Those are the types of questions that I, as retail, or as retail in general, would really want to know, because a lot of people want a piece of the SUV pie, because this was announced yesterday. So Toyota investing 1.3 billion in Kentucky to build a all-electric 3-row SUV. It looks like they're going to be starting production late 2025, early 2026. But even Rivian with the R2, like R2 definitely does have a good advantage compared to the Gravity based on the price point between 40 to 60,000. But like I've said, there's a huge amount of demand for SUVs. So Lucid really needs to get their stuff together and be on time for production to start at the tail end 2024 and capitalize on Toyota and obviously Rivian not necessarily production or starting production at that stage. So definitely I feel like that is going to be a very key thing for Lucid, giving future guidance. So a lot of companies that have been unveiling their earnings this week have failed to give good future guidance, and their stock prices have suffered. Even today, after hours, PayPal. So PayPal had relatively good earnings. They beat on revenue, earnings per share, all the key metrics, but they were very light on their future guidance. And as you can see, it is down about 4.43%. So the market is going to punish any company that is failing to give good future guidance. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But as far as shorts, so shorts were all over Lucid today. Even pre-market, it was looking fairly good, like it was going to continue to break out and have higher highs, maybe even test the $4 range. As I said yesterday in that video, like the technicals are looking fairly good. So shorts at this stage were returning about 500,000 shares. As soon as the market did open, all hell broke loose. So shorts just doubled down on Lucid. By the end of it though, they did only increase about 60,000 shares. 31.05% of the free float is being shorted. 274.87 million shares overall are being shorted. And cost to borrow average is 23.75%. Utilization is at 100%. So most likely if shorts do continue, it will be on the threshold list probably sooner rather than later. So that might be something potentially to help the stock price. Maybe. Again, that's depending on if the SEC new transparency rule does anything. But aside from all of that fun jazz, $640,000 in calls being purchased versus $321,000 in puts. So dollar value wise has gone down quite a lot today compared to the last several days. But sentiment wise, 51% of all the options being done today were optimistic and bullish. So that's kind of a good thing. But of the call options that were purchased though, there is a consensus for it to be above 350. So if Lucid is able to close above 350, there's going to be roughly around 11,000 in open interest that does get exercised, meaning market makers are going to cover that on the open market. So that might give it a nice bump up in the stock price. So that's something to consider. Looking at some of the puts though, it is anticipated for it to be sub $3. And based on this, so these are some of the key resistance and support points. With it at $3.38, it closed right below this pivot of $3.40. So like I said, even in yesterday's video, the technicals were looking very good for a breakout to at least the $4 range, especially the fact that it closed above this pivot point. But shorts, knowing strategically what to do, they brought it below that and tried their very best. It did struggle throughout the day, so this kind of held somewhat, but during power hour, they brought it right below this. So $2.73 as it stands is going to be that next strong support. Vice versa, 340, you'll want to watch for that to kind of break above, or that'll probably get flirted with a little bit going into tomorrow. But then again, we'll just have to wait and see. Like I've indicated, just Lucid needs to actually put out some substantial news, and they have been really lacking in that department. So that again might be another possible good question to management. What are you doing to really fix your marketing, or like to just add more transparency for retail investors? But overall, despite the lower volume today, retail was still buying, and you can see that based on the momentum. So number of retail investors have been constantly getting in ever since January the 18th, so taking advantage of this nice bump up in the stock price. Stochastic is at 63. So as I've said in yesterday's video, if it was going to continue to trend up, it was going to get overbought, and then of course that would result in the stock price going down, consolidating, and whatever else. So in reality, I think today the downtrend was partially being attributed by that as well. So hopefully that might reset some of the stochastic a little bit, as long as it doesn't break below this $3.22, because typically when it comes down to stocks, as long as it has higher highs and is moving in that general direction, then you will see obviously more positive days, but you want to watch this key point, so $3.22 to really hold. So I think Lucid definitely does have a lot of good upside coming. There might be more pain potentially as a result of their upcoming earnings, but it all comes down to guidance, especially what are they giving for 2024 targets, like delivery and production targets. What is their goal? And plus, as what Sherry previously stated, they have sufficient amount of capital well into 2025. I've disagreed with that. So what are they going to say for this round? Because I do feel that the tail end of Q2, that is when they will need their next round of dilution. So talking on that is also going to be key for Lucid and whatever else. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Give yourself a shout out. Did you buy? Did you sell? What did you do with Lucid today? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Link in the description below and also the comments. Simply sign up for an account, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So this is one of the best deals in the market. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.